Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Andy 150, and we are in part 4 of the modular Sci Fi Hallway asset building. So let's get right to it. So what we're going to do is the last video I talked about fixing this, and so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would do that. So anything that you've created, you can fix. So I'm going to go in, hold down the shift key, right mouse button, go to target weld tool, and just start target welding these pieces together. I'm just going to go right up the line and just rotate as needed, and go to the other side and do the same thing. So I'm just target welding these pieces together, going from one side to another. Don't miss anything. And just going from the back of the extrude to the front. And then we'll get to the top. We're just about done. Okay. And that's it. Now you do have some shading issues now because of the weld, but everything's good, believe me. Hit the Q key. And what we're going to do is zoom out of this object, go into face mode, and select all the faces. And you just need to harden the edges. Okay. Now if that doesn't work, you have underlying issues with your model, meaning that you might have double faces. So right click over the model and check to see if you have double faces. This is the part that I actually extruded in, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that face. So if you select a face and delete it, okay, and it deletes, then you don't have double faces. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and it's going to go, just kind of double check this real quick. Nope. And so I'm pretty confident that everything is good with this. The only thing I'm going to do is get rid of these edges that I don't need anymore. Okay. Okay, so the issue is that we have delete by, we're going to just kind of do a control delete. That should take care of it. I'm going to right click over into vertex, and that takes care of everything that we had before. So even though I can do add detail, I can also just get rid of things that I've done quickly. That wasn't too slow to do that. So another thing I need to do is kind of look at the spacing here now of this object. So that concerns me a little bit. I was kind of haphazardly doing this real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move these vertices over and just space them properly. Okay. And because this is a grid system, this is going to be easy for me to do that. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of 3. So I'm just going to pop those, and I'm eyeballing it because I can't do snap to grid because it would be all over the place. So I'm just going to do that, and that should make it pretty even. Alright, so that piece is done. We're going to work on the doorway as we talked about. Okay, I don't need anything else. I got the shape. I even got the shape the same size as the rest. So now I can just work on that and focus on that. And we'll do one side of the door and then mirror it over. I'm going to do two parts. One's going to be the outside edge, and then the actual door itself, which we can extract and use. Alright, so we'll get to it here. Let's go ahead and do Control 1. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing that I always do is get into my layer editor. Okay. And because we really don't have a door reference, I'm going to go ahead and just make a very, very generic door. And you guys can have some fun with it. If you guys want to find a reference for a door, go ahead. I'm just going to make something really quick and generic on my end here. Alright, so let's go and duplicate, Control D, add that to a layer, and we'll call this door original. Alright. And that's turned off. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to add this to a layer. I'm going to call this door. Alright. There's the other door. Okay, so we got that set up. I'm going to start adding edge loops. So I want a door frame. Okay, that's important. So let's go ahead and do that right away. Insert edge loop. So do a door frame. So I want a pretty thick door frame. And that's kind of strange that didn't go through. Okay, that makes me think there's something wrong with this. So when something like that happens, we need to check to make sure all the vertices are locked together. Ah, see? This one has two vertices, so I'm going to merge together. I forgot to merge those. Edit mesh. Merge the center. There we go. That looks good. So two there, and there should be two there. And that's how you fix stuff like that. Something doesn't go all the way through, and it should now. Insert edge loop tool. Let's test it out. Yep, there we go. And that's what we're looking for. I'm not going to do a door frame here. That doesn't make any sense because, yeah, that'll be the edge. Alright, so there's our door frame right here. And so what I can do is I'm going to add some more edge loops here and kind of give it more dimension. So I'm going to add an edge loop here, right there, and inside that one like that. Like that. There we go. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. It's pretty fun. Pretty simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and select these two. Whoops. Yeah, like that. And then you can do the paint tool. Hold the shift key down and paint your... Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't, but usually it works pretty good. But this object, let me get a little bit closer. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work so well. Usually I like it, but with this one, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Alright, so there's my door. Should we have a little bit of a door that you gotta step over? Huh. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so there's our door, and what I'm going to do is I am going to duplicate this piece right here, this piece that I've got. So I'm going to do a control. I'm going to have to get this, because this doesn't work unfortunately. Delete layer. Okay, there's the original door, and it's going to be on top of the other one. So let me move this out of the way. Get into selection mode, object mode, and just move that out of the way for now. And let's go to the door original. Okay, we're going to keep that, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to duplicate, Control D that, put that in a layer. There we go. So I have it. Alright, I'm not too worried about where this is right now. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the selection again. And it remembers my selection. I love that part. So I duplicated it, so whatever I create, I can have another one, so I won't have any problems there. So I'm going to do a Control E, and just use and this is going to be a little more beefy here. Okay, like that. And we're going to scale it in. Actually, this doesn't work very well, does it? Nope. So it doesn't like that. So I can mess with these and move them the way I want to after I get them actually extruded, which is kind of an interesting thought. So I needed to add some thickness here. Beef that up just a little bit more, like that. And then let's go in here and then deselect, actually let's hit the Q key, and just deselect this little edge here, like that, all the way down. There we go. And we are going to extrude this, Control E, and just make sure you don't have anything else selected here, okay, in this part. And we are going to extrude this out. And this is going to be just a nice little detail here. Again, all these details make a difference. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the Q key, hold the Control key, and deselect this part. Okay. And we do the same thing, Control E, and move that out. That part out, like that. There we go. Cool. So that's our doorway, which I think is looking pretty good so far. Good, good, good. Alright, so hit the Q key and click off. Alright, so there's our pieces for the doorway. And then what I want to do with this part right here is extract that, because I might want to add some cool stuff to this part. So I'm going to extract that. Okay. So go to Edit Mesh. I'm holding down the spacebar and extract. Okay. Alright, so that's cool. And so this is the basic door frame. Okay. And then what we're going to do with this is we need to add thickness to this. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into face mode, and it's already selected it. And so we're going to go Control E and extrude it. And you can see it reversed it automatically, but that's the way I want to go, that way. We need to add some thickness. This will be a bulkhead. So something like that. We don't want it too thick, otherwise it's going to look a little bit goofy. So an inch and a half of titanium. I think that would pretty much keep anything out. Alright. That looks good. Of course, you know what we need to do. We need to reverse the normals. So hold down the spacebar, go to Mesh Display, and reverse. There we go. So there's our door. Okay, and that can slide in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and select these two and center pivot point, like that. And you can see this piece right here can now be slid into the room if needed be, right? That's pretty cool. So there's your doorway, and we just need to get rid of these. I guess I can just leave those. Well, since this is a modular piece, we don't need that. Get rid of those. There we go. Because we'll mirror that over. There we go. So that's the door. So this will be actually the materials. We'll add this as a separate object, lay out UVs for that, and then lay out UVs for this separately. That's what you'll do. If you want to add details to this door, you know what to do. You guys can add as much details to your stuff as you want. I'm just getting you started. We do not want to take the edge off of here because that will be its a solid object here. So don't delete anything in the back either. Okay. Alright, so what we'll need to do now is mirror that over to the other side to make it complete. Now what you can do with this, you can add a little edge in here if you want to, but I don't think you need to. If you feel like you need to, let's go ahead and pull that in. Yeah, I don't think you need to. It's up to you. A lot of people want to add another edge up and over to kind of form fit around the door. Okay, but I don't think that's needed. Okay, so there's our doorway, there's our door, and again I want you guys to go ahead and add detail to the door if you wish to complete the way the door looks. And you know, some of them is just panels, you know, just adding some panel work to it, and you can bake that in if you want. Alright, so let's take a look at everything we have so far. There we go. So we got our doorway, we've got our door panel, and you may want to add more interest to the door. It's up to you how you want to do that. And some people like to do like little, like different pieces. Like you could do, like if you mirror this over and to the other side, and you want to add like zigzaggedy-ish, you know, pieces like this, you can. It's not a big deal. You could easily just go in here to the face of this object and add detail to the doorway. You know how they latch together like that? You could add some detail like that and to scale it in kind of like that. You've seen those kind of doors like that. And then the other door would be pushed into here, so you'd have to go in here and move some verts around. But that's how you can kind of do some interlocking pieces if you want to for your door. So just some ideas. Again, this is your stuff. I'm getting the basic structure, and you guys can elaborate and have some fun with it. Add more to it if you want to. So basically, these are the pieces that we have. We've got the ceiling and the floor pieces to find out what we want to do with that. Is that just going to be a material or a texture that we add? Are we going to add detail to this? You may want to look at other examples. In this example here, you can see that there is some detail in the floor as well as the ceiling. Okay, so you guys can basically figure out what you'd like to put as detail. I think we're about far enough with it, and the next thing we're going to do is start adding some interesting like going in here and adding edge loops now to all of this stuff, so we can have high poly as well. And I might add some detail to the door real quick here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now, so it doesn't look so plain. It just looks really plain to me right now. So, alright, so let me take a look. Let's see if I have any ideas for doors. That's kind of cool. Let me look back here. I think I'm just going to add some artistic expression on this and just have some fun with it. Experiment. Alright, so just kind of add some edge loops here and see if I can get some detail in here. Okay, unfortunately everything's got to be pushed in. Okay, so I'm going to go into face mode and just select the faces I want to be pushed in. Okay, that looks good, I think. And so I'm going to push those in. I think what I'm going to do is, let's go in here, and I want to push these things in too. And I think I want to add an edge over here. Again, this is just really quickly getting some ideas here. Let's add a frame on this. Okay. Bulkhead door. Let's see, get some grids in there like that. And let's add some grids right here. And grids right here. And here. And here. Okay, so now I'm going to go and select all of this and maybe push it in. So I'm going to go to the front view, or this view right here. It's a little easier to select these things. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it in just a little bit. I know there's not much thickness here, so I can't do much. So I'm going to do Control E and push it in. Whoops, wrong way. Oh, I got the other side as well. So I got to be careful. I might have to make this a little bit thicker. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to go vertex mode and go to this stuff. What is it? The top view here, and just make this a little bit thicker so I have a little more leeway, and then I can thin it back down again if I need to. Alright, so there we go. Let's go back into face mode. Remember. Oh, it doesn't remember. Usually it does. So I'm just going to go ahead and click off and then shift select this. There you go. And that'll give me this on both sides. I'm going to extrude and push it in like that, just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go in here and click off and go back in here, and what I want to do is let's see if I can do this easily. Select all of this, okay, and just kind of deselect the area I don't want to add. So I'm going to control like this, like this, like this, and just do the sections at a time like that. There we go. And there's any areas here that I want to add, I can. Let's go ahead and add this one, and this one, and this one. Okay. This one and this one. There we go. Let's see, what does that look like here? And I'm going to go ahead and add this one, and this one. Something like that. Okay. And so I want to hold the control and shift, and just kind of make sure I get the pieces in the back too as well. You can see that. There we go. Alright, so I may not like this, who knows. And then Control E, let's see what happens. And let's go ahead and move that in. Actually, let's move it out just a little bit. No, I decided to move it in, but not too far. There we go. Okay, great. Alright, so I think that's working pretty good. Alright, so now we've got some interesting detail on there that wasn't there before. That's a little more interesting to look at. Okay, let's kind of look at what we have so far. And then we may want to have like little latches or something on these parts here. So you can add more detail in there if you want to. Or add pieces, you know. You could add bolts in here if you want to. Okay, so I think that'll do it for that. Control 1. There we go. Where are we at here? There we go. I don't really like that kind of going in like that, so I'm going to fix these vertices so they're a little more straight. Alright, just so they're not kind of angled. Just make them as straight as I can by eyeballing them. I think these are okay. I think that's okay now. Here we go. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's work on the ceiling tiles. What are we going to do with those? This is really up to you again, what you want to do, but I'm just going to add some detail to make it a little more interesting. It doesn't have to be a lot of detail, just very, you know, just quick, maybe straight little pieces that we can extrude up. So I'm going to kind of get those added. Okay. And this is just to keep things looking interesting. Alright. I'm going to extrude that. Control E. And again, a little bit is a lot. You don't have to go too far up to make it work. And then you got to delete anything that's on the outer edge here, because you're going to be putting those together. And we want to add thickness, edge thickness again. Whoops. So we want to add some edge thickness to everything that you create, even the bottom pieces. Some people don't, but I like to. Again, you can't go too high, right, with this, too thick, because we get those edges right here that will smash into each other. So we'll have to fix those individually, but don't go too far. Just kind of look around the object. Okay, that looks pretty good. Like that. Just simple stuff like that works really nicely. And then maybe panels like this. Go to selection mode again. Just keep everything inside where you can see it, meaning that you don't isolate select so you can kind of see what you're doing here, and keep it kind of, you know, the same way. Selection, hit the Q key. Let's go back and insert an edge loop tool, and let's do a pad up here, kind of same thickness, be consistent. Okay. Alright, so go in here. So we'll add a little pad. Here we go. Pad detail, and then maybe detail that goes across in the center. So let's get on top of it and kind of get, and we can always, you know, go back and make changes if we don't like what we got. Alright, so this is great. I like that. I like how that looks. So I'm going to go into face. Again, this is going to be like a little pad. There we go. Make sure you don't have anything else selected. And we'll go ahead and extrude. And we're going to go ahead and add this part too as well, all the way across like we did the other one. There we go. And so that looks good. I'm not going to do it in the middle. Because, yeah, there we go. I think that'll work. Control D, or Control E. And then move that arrow up. And again, the same distance like I did with the other one. Okay, try to keep it consistent. Alright. Okay, there's that panel. Alright, that looks good. I like that. And that's pushed in. Information is pushed in. There we go. And then we got the big one. And so, kind of keeping with the rest of it, we'll do the same thing, same kind of thing. Okay, just insert edge loops here and here. Okay. And we'll keep the same type of feeling with this. Do edge here and edge here. And we'll do a larger piece here, like that. Alright. Okay, so what we're going to do with this one is we are going to push it in. And these parts a little higher. So these parts will be pushed in, creating an interesting looking object. Okay, and then Control E. And let's go in here. There it is. And move it up. Make it a little more dramatic. Okay. And then we'll scale that in by clicking on that cube. And scaling in by clicking on that cube. And just make them even. Okay, you might want to go to the top view and get those evened out a little bit more. There we go. You can kind of see what you're doing here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like that. Alright, perspective. There we go. And there's the ceiling part. Now, the floor pieces, they have to be a little more, you just got to pull back a little bit more on those. You cannot go crazy with those like we have here. Now, which way do you want the lines to go? Do you want them to go across, or do you want them to go this way? That's entirely up to you, how you see that looking. I'm going to go this way, kind of follow what this guy's got going on here. Okay. So we'll do that in the next video, in part 6. I'll see you there.